Hello everyone and welcome to a super exciting episode of Queeria. This is episode 3 where we will be talking about, finally be talking about the Witch Queen DLC. Welcome! We hope you have all had a great time this past week exploring Savathûn's throne world and taking back the light. So, what did we like about the story? What didn't we like? What was our reaction to that part? You know, that part. That part with the thing on the thing? That part. Well, all of those questions will be answered very shortly, and we sincerely hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome to Queeria. So it goes without saying that there will of course be spoilers for the entire DLC in this episode. So for some reason you have not... You have been warned. This is the spoiler alert. Yes, you have been warned. There's going to be spoilers. We are not going to hold back. We're not going to say, hey, if you haven't played this yet, hey, if you haven't played that yet. This episode is spoilerific. So you have been warned. We're going to split this up into 2 different sections. We're going to talk about the Witch Queen, obviously. Sort of like general things that we liked and didn't like. We're going to talk about Void 3.0. We're going to talk about some story stuff. But then we are also going to start talking about Le Raid, which as of today, which is the 26th of February, comes out in a week. Exactly a week.
Exactly
yeah, it's
a week.
Saturday today.
It's this next coming Saturday.
Ooh, 7 days. So we are very excited about that as well. So, jumping in to the Witch Queen, let's talk about some things we liked and some things we didn't like. So, obviously, myself and Trystan, we played the whole campaign together. We played it on Legendary mode.
Legendary mode was amazing. I loved everything about it.
It was the perfect blend of challenge and reward. Like, it wasn't, what was that public event on Mars that everyone used to play and it would, like, kick your teeth in because it was so difficult?
Oh, with the lander thing that you had to shoot all the vents?
No, the
or
the
like
one where you got the
OG
shotgun
Mars.
in Warmind.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember the only reason I compare it to that is because I remember during Warmind or before Warmind came out, they talked about that escalation protocol. They talked about that being like, oh, it's the hardest thing we've ever made, and the community wants challenge, and we're going to give them challenge, but it just wasn't a fun challenge because it was just so difficult.
It was grindy.
Very grindy. And you had to be coordinated, but it was in a public area, and so it was hard to be coordinated. Anyway,
and like my biggest gripe with escalation protocol was it was a 6-man thing, and you could only take in a fire team of 3 to the landing destination.
I do remember streamers
like
somehow.
I would do that with the old clan I used to play with. Like we would go and like try to sync up at the same time as we dropped in, and sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't. But yeah, no, it was awful.
Yeah, that's my point of reference when Bungie talks about things being really difficult. Obviously, aside from the raids are in the whole, like, own category of things. But I feel like the Legendary campaign is a really, really good example of them finally hitting that sweet spot. If I were to go through it solo, that would be a completely different thing. I know a lot of people are struggling to finish that Legendary campaign solo.
I started it solo. It's not so bad if you're careful, but you gotta be patient. Like, that's the big thing. You have to be patient. You can't just run in balls to the wall and expect to succeed.
Which is a shame because that's always how I run.
It is, and you learned the hard way doing it with me. That's not how it works.
So funny as well because we did it on Legendary when we first did it on our hunters, on our main characters. We were so careful at the beginning. And then we just did the first mission on our warlocks last night, and I was dying left and right. So, I don't know what it is. In your
defense, it was late and we were both tired. However,
I should have known better. Yeah, the Legendary campaign was so fun. And other thing I want to talk about with the Legendary campaign is the last mission. The very, very last mission in Savathûn's Throne World was so very good. I think the last part of that mission probably took us 2 hours.
Yeah,
to kill Savathûn.
It was difficult, but in a really satisfying way. Like, I got the same satisfaction out of playing the Legendary campaign as I used to get playing the old, like, Bungie Halo campaigns. That's my point of reference for it. So, like, yeah, no, I haven't had an experience this awesome since I played Reach, like, way back when. So
That's
yeah,
so
no,
cool.
it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I didn't play Halo back in the day, so hearing you reference Halo always makes me really happy. Yeah, I remember us doing
I'm an
that
old
last
man.
part and me saying to you at one point, it's like we're doing a raid. It's like we're doing a 2-man raid. This is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like strategy too. You had to talk through why you failed and how to avoid making that same mistake when you started again. It was really good. And I can't give Bungie enough praise for the Legendary campaign. It's perfect. Don't change anything about it going forward. Perfect level of difficulty, perfect length. Like it took us 2 days to complete.
It did, yeah. We really took our time. And I think as well, with the level of difficulty, it afforded us the
chance
room to take
around.
our time. Yes, the chance to look around, the chance to take our time, the chance to really like absorb everything, because we weren't just, okay, cool, I've cleared that room, let's go to the next thing. We were like, oh, okay, let's get our rewards, level some stuff up, and then go forward. Like, we weren't rushing through it at all, so.
It was really good. Everything about it was awesome.
And speaking of the campaign, there have been many new characters introduced into
my hand in marriage for Finch and Imaru.
And Finch is just like, I don't have hands. I don't have hands.
Imaru just calls me a neon nerd and flies away.
Yeah, he's just like, get out of my face. Who do you think you are? I want to know who on the Bungie narrative team said, you know what I've decided? I've decided the Hive are fucking hilarious.
They are really funny.
Because they just really cranked up the humor with them. And I don't know who made that decision or where that came from. I don't think either of us anticipated Finch being a Hive ghost at first. I think we got to the end of that mission where, you know, he comes over the comms and he's talking to you. We got to the end of that mission and we were like, oh, maybe he's a Hive ghost. But I think at first I was admittedly
really hoping that Finch was going to be a Hive guardian.
Yeah.
That was my hope. And I think I said that to you as well. But that it was a ghost. No, that was cool.
There is still a possibility of having a Hive Guardian friend in the future if Misrax is anything to go by.
Fingers fucking crossed. That's all I gotta say. Just give me Hive buddies.
Yeah, I love Finch with every single inch of my heart. He is so funny. And I also love the narrative. I also love that we're getting more of a moral quandary with the ghosts. Our ghost during the story, you're not a fan of the ghost. I love the ghost. But there were even some moments with the ghost during the story where you were like, oh, get him. Like that bit at the end where he's like yelling at Savathun, like, I know what you've done to the Awoken. I know what you've done to this is everything you've done wrong. Like, fuck you. She really tried it. And our ghost was like, I don't fucking think so, my dude.
Yeah, no, let Ghost say fuck. I feel like he would be a lot more enjoyable if he was just allowed to be unhinged.
Why don't you like him?
Why don't I like Ghost? Because it's like a goody two-shoes claptrap in my ear.
Did you ever play Borderlands?
Yeah.
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play the second one?
Half of it.
Oh, we should play the second one. It's one of my favourite games.
Borderlands didn't quite strike me well.
Fair. You think Ghost is annoying? Wait until you actually have to deal with Claptrap.
I don't think I'd wish that on my worst enemy.
There's a girl I work with, I don't know if she'll ever listen to this, but there's a girl I work with who's really big on Borderlands and she loves Claptrap. And I'm like, I'm sorry, how could you love Claptrap? I don't get it. I guess I can see the, this is very much a tangent. I guess I can see the abject kind of like, oh, he's trying, but no, he's just an asshole. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yes,
Borderlands
Finch we
wasn't
loved.
Ever really my thing.
Fair. So yeah, Finch we loved. Imaru obviously we love. We only really got to hear him through patrols and stuff though, which is I think is a bit of a shame.
I think that's gonna change with the raid. Personally, I feel like we're gonna see more of him with the raid.
Interesting. You think he's gonna pop up in the raid?
Do you remember how there was the wish wall with
Last Wish,
and you could get different people narrating the raid?
Yeah. Oh.
I have a feeling he's going to be something like one of those situations. Not that you have to like go put a code in and have the thing do the thing, but like narration wise, I have a feeling Imaru's going to show up again in the raid.
I was thinking
A la Clovis Bray in Deepstone Crypt.
That would be that would actually be really cool. Yeah. Because we don't know who or what or where he went at the end of the story. We're going to talk about the end of the story in like a hot second. But we don't know where he went at the end. It kind of looked like the Traveler took him, but
it looked
like
like
we will see.
Fucking got the hell out of Dodge is what it looked like.
Which I don't blame him. I really don't blame him.
Parasite was the thing that you really wanted to talk about.
Oh my god.
Worm in a blender.
Okay. So I was not prepared for this quest. I don't think anyone could be prepared for this quest.
Shout out to Savathun's worm for being the funniest motherfucker alive.
Again, who decided that the Hive were going to be hilarious? So for those of you who don't know, the Parasite quest, we all saw the Parasite in the weapons trailer. Parasite quest opens up after the main mission, and you basically take Savathun's worm that Mara exercised and put it in a gun. That's the like spoiler version of it. But there is a part of the quest at the very end where you have to, so the worm is dying basically. The worm is dying and you have to like keep it alive in order to be able to interrogate it for information, because there's some story thread about Savathun being there during the collapse, and does she help us or does she hurt us? Like, no one really knows for sure. So you have to run him, you have to run the worm through these pools. So you have to run him through these pools to keep him alive, basically. And he is just yelling, screaming, telling you you're an idiot the entire time.
Precious cargo.
Precious cargo. Like, he says, you may as well be taking a nap. Like, he is just so mad about everything that is happening all the time. And there was a particular part where it's a room that you go into in the story, but for this quest in particular, they've put those like hive traps in it. If you played Pit of Heresy, you'll know the ones that like go up and down and they have the spikes on them and stuff.
Spinny boys. Spinny
boys, yes. And if you die, you drop the worm. So Trist was carrying the baby. And I'm sorry, they're not babies actually. Clearly they're old crotchy men.
I was about to say, do you think the discourse people feel stupid now?
I can't believe that we had canon confirmation that hive worms are actually all just crotchety old men. Oh my god. So yeah, basically Trist was the one running with the baby, running with the worm, running with the old man. And he died in the middle of this little spinny thing, and the worm just span along, and it just looked like it was being blended, and I lost my entire ass.
Yeah, you laughed for a good 10 minutes. It was really funny.
I saw that happen, and I was like, we're not going to get it on this run because I need a minute. I laughed for like 5 minutes. Like, if I can find that clip on my Xbox and upload it to Twitter, I will.
I feel like we need a Queeria fucking highlight reel of us doing the campaign.
Agree. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to edit video, and I wouldn't put that on you, so I think it would be hilarious. Queeria highlight reel.
I think that would be hilarious too. Maybe, like, when we start doing our streams, we could do something like that. Mm-hmm. I think that would be really cool to just do, like, a blooper reel on YouTube every now and then.
That would be really funny.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Parasite as a gun as well is just really, really, really powerful. It's really, really good. I've enjoyed playing with it a lot.
She likes it, I don't.
You, on the other hand, yeah.
I think it's too slow to reload, too slow to fire. There's literally no launch range at all.
You've really, the thing with Parasite is
I don't have the level of patience that you do. Like, you
exactly, yeah.
It's not worth it for me.
You rack up kills with any other weapon, and then when you switch to Parasite, you get a buff times however many things you've killed. I think the max that you can get is 20, and you can do like 270,000 damage in one go, but you know, Triss is absolutely right. It's slow to reload, and it doesn't have a very large range, so you have to make sure that that shot counts. Also, if you hit yourself with that damage, you get a little bit of extra damage from it as well. I forget what that buff is called, but I mean, I think it's a really good gun, and the quest is just fucking hilarious. It's so very good.
And like again, I like smooth firing machine guns. I've been using the same commemoration that I got in my very first run of Deepstone Crypt, like, since I got it.
You very rarely use grenade launchers, which in fairness, I very rarely use grenade launchers.
The only one I liked was like the Swarm of the Raven or something. It was an Iron Banner one, had Fellwinter flavor text on it. And I used it specifically because you could climb walls by standing on the grenades you launched.
Nice.
That's how I climbed a lot of walls in when I glitched into Garden of Salvation.
Nice. Did you ever use Anarchy?
I still don't have Anarchy.
We need to change that. I know it's been nerfed, but
I don't want to waste the money pulling it out of not collections. The Monument to Lost Lights. That was a great idea in theory, but it's so expensive.
It is very expensive, especially for like right at the beginning of a DLC too. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but I am material poor. I am not a material girl.
I am at Glimmercap still, and I can't seem to get away from Glimmercap. And I have 400 legendary shards, and like 40 masterwork cores, and like 20 upgrade modules. Sorry.
I'm trying to think of a daddy joke.
No. Moving on.
But nothing is coming to me.
The things we didn't like from the campaign. Me specifically, one of my big hang-up points was veteran dialogue. There's one instance that Saladin it's the Season of the Risen quest, it's not even Witch Queen, calls you Young Wolf, which is a callback to Destiny 1's Rise of Iron campaign. But for the last 3 DLCs, Bungie has really ignored their veteran players in dialogue and in like noting, because as much as they talked about Oryx in the Vile Strike, there was just not, as somebody who busted ass to kill Oryx, there was no recognition whatsoever.
Yeah,
so that
definitely felt like
disappointing. Continues to be disappointing.
It definitely felt like every time someone spoke about Oryx, they were trying to speak about him as generally as possible. And it's like, no, I killed him. I did that. Unless the narrative team are just trying to move away from having a single guardian doing all the things, who is also one person but also everyone, unless they're trying to move away from that. But still, I also want recognition. I killed Oryx. It was really difficult because I didn't have a raid team at the time, and I played with people I don't talk to anymore. I want the recognition of that. I really do.
So if they could just like shout their veteran players a little bit more. I recognize that you want the storyline in the game to be like as open as possible to new lights and blueberries. That's great. That's fine. I don't mind. I think that's wonderful. But give credit where credit is due. Like, I've been playing your game for, not to be like, but like, I've been playing the game since it started. I would like for you to notice that I'm still here.
No, I mean, I don't know. I would love to know why they haven't done that anymore. Because if it is a logistics thing, or if it is we don't have time, or if it's the narrative has just gone into a different direction, or if it has something to do with the narrative shakeup that happened like a few months ago, you know, I would just like to know. But yeah, it sucks. Like, it's so, they did it in D2. They did it in base D2. Why not keep doing that?
Especially partnering with Sony. If it's about bandwidth, you've definitely got the bandwidth now.
Also, if you're going to keep, because like, I don't want to go into whatever DLC Zebra Wrath is going to have in them to be like, some Guardian killed Savathun. It's like, no, I killed Savathun. I did that. It took me 2 hours on Legendary.
The other thing I didn't particularly care for, and still don't particularly care for, is weapons crafting, but that's just because I'm a stupid bitch and I don't know how it works.
It's not made
I have tried to
clear.
reforge the glaive 5 times, and I still can't get the pop-up at the bottom of the screen to go away. And I just keep wasting materials trying to reforge it so that the quest progresses, and it won't.
I do feel like there may be some glitching there, but I also feel like it's really not made clear, because when I started like pulling elements from weapons that I'd like used and leveled up, those like mutable elements or whatever, I was like, why are there 2? Does it matter which one that I get? Do I have to pick one in order to extract its its blueprint. But Kaz PhD, who I'm pretty certain we've mentioned in every single episode.
We have. Kaz
so
gets
far.
a shout out every episode. He's just
He really does. Whether you wanted it or not, Kaz, you are now the mascot of Queeria. Your beard can be the mascot of Queeria because he just raised $2,000
over
for charity.
I think he broke his
over
charity goal.
$2,000. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
And
Such
we're
a
gonna
great
get
guy.
our asses kicked in PvP tomorrow on his stream. It's gonna be
All
great.
in the name of charity. It's gonna be so good. Where was I going with that? Yeah, he put up a thing in his own Discord channel and also on Twitter of like how weapons crafting actually works. I didn't know that each of the materials goes into, so when you get one of those weapons that has the red border around it and you use it, and it's like, okay, cool, you can extract the materials from this now, and you get two different options. Those options equate to different perks. So there's one material, say for example, I'm sure this isn't what it actually is, but say for example, mutinous might give you like perks to do with reload speed. Something else might give you perks to do with precision damage and stuff like that. But how are you supposed to know that just from remembering? And also apparently extracting blueprints with some weapons, you have to like extract them more than once. But again, that's not made clear. It would be nice if there was, when you hovered over the weapons
really
that are available to
put
share.
their whole bunjussie into making sure everybody knew how to play Gambit, even though Drifter tells you verbally how to play Gambit while you're playing. But they couldn't be asked to give us a walkthrough on weapons crafting that was longer than like a couple of pop-ups.
Yeah, they tried. They tried to make the weapons crafting. They tried to take you through it step by step. They really did. They just didn't explain the minutiae, I guess, if that's how you say it. If they would have just said, okay, so this element links to this, and this element links to this, and this element links to that. I suppose they didn't want to like overwhelm the player with like tons of information at once, which I can respect, but I don't think that giving people less is the better option there. I enjoy weapons crafting. The one thing I don't like about it is the fact that in order to actually make a weapon that I like, I have to rank it up. Because I would like an auto rifle that basically doesn't have any recoil and has a huge magazine, but I need to get easily to level 6 or 7 with an auto rifle to be able to give it those perks, which I guess is incentive to keep using the weapon, which I do like. One thing I will say is that those red bordered weapons give me an excuse to use them. Brain go burr when I complete an objective in video game. So that's nice, but I just wish that I could get all of the perks that I want a little bit quicker. But I guess, like, I don't know, I don't want to sound like an entitled PvP player, and I fear that I am steering too close. How am I sounding?
You're fine.
Okay, good. Just wanted to check in. So yeah, I go back and forth on it. I don't think I'll be using it very often.
The only other negative positive thing I wanted to touch on, I was pleasantly surprised by the lack of power grind after completing the legendary campaign. I'm sure that there's still quite a grind for people who did the campaign solo on normal mode. But getting that 1520 gear coming out of the legendary campaign with the threshold for the raid contest being 1530. Pleasantly surprised. I'm almost 1540 now, and we still have pinnacles next week to do.
Same.
I definitely feel like I'm going to be going into the raid in a healthy state. So yeah, props to Bungie for making it less power grindy, though I can already hear streamers going, it was too easy and now I have nothing to do.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. However, I've never been in this position before. Like, I've literally never been raid ready the week before a raid. So being able to do that, and also the people who are playing solo, who do take the time to grind through legendary, are
You're
going to
fucking
be
champions.
so rewarded. Oh yeah, first of all, big dick energy all around. Like, I can't believe that you did that, because I think I would just curl up in a ball and cry.
It's half the reason we haven't been raid ready for, not we as you and I, but our raid team is half the reason we haven't been ready for the last 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people just don't have the time to grind.
Exactly, yeah, because we're all working adults.
Bungie is really pushing this envelope to like make the game accessible to casual players. That's wonderful. I love it.
Don't say it, or the sweaties will hear.
That's the thing. When your streamers start complaining, they're gonna want to retune everything again. But Witch Queen was the perfect balance of challenge and reward to make everybody ready for the raid. It was so good.
I think that just adding that legendary campaign as well, it was such a simple thing that has elevated that amount of people who are going to be able to get into the raid. So yeah, moving on, we are going to talk about Void 3.0, which I didn't play on Void 3.0 until sort of we got out of the campaign because I was relying very heavily on stasis. Personally, I just really liked the narrative irony of a Guardian using stasis and the Hive using light, so yeah. Also, Mask of Bacchus still fucks. But how did you feel about Void 3.0? Because you played with it a lot.
I like the tuning. It's good for Hunter, it's great for Warlock. I will say that I feel a lot more formidable now on my Void Lock. I feel like I have incentive to use the Void subclass over the Healy Wheelie subclass.
Healy Wheelie.
I cannot sing its praises enough on Warlock. On Hunter, I have qualms, but it's great overall. Nothing to really pick at.
I like it on Hunter a lot. I am only using Deadfall at the moment, so the single one. And going invisible constantly is so satisfying. Getting that stylish execution, very satisfying. I love being able to pull enemies in with my grenade. I feel more mobile. Because when Night Stalker came into Destiny 2, I always felt like it felt weighted down. And I know that they did that Go Fast update not too long after Destiny 2 came out, but Night Stalker still felt really slow. And now I feel like it finally feels more snappy, so I am very, very excited about using it more. And I've been using it a lot more now, so I think they nailed it, and it just makes me so excited for the other light subclasses to be upgraded in that way as well. Gonna be so good.
That's pretty much everything with Void. I mean, it's good. Void, go.
Yeah,
purr,
we
literally
we literally can't say anything more than Void is good. Go to Ikora. It doesn't tell you in the in the actual game.
You have to go to her to get the other grenades from the other subclasses.
Yes, so go to her to get other like levels ups and stuff with Void 3.0. But yeah, no, we love it. I haven't played on the Warlock too much yet, but it's awesome. I'm really, really enjoying it. And then the last thing we want to talk about in regards to Witch Queen in general is some pretty big story reveals. Now, I had a feeling, and I don't think I said it in the last episode, but I had a feeling that Savathûn, one of the biggest reveals was going to be that Savathûn had actually been given the light by the Traveler. But how did you feel about that? Because I know we both had a bit of a, oh, okay, kind of response to it in the moment.
I still don't think it gave it to her. I think she tricked her way into following the creed, quote unquote, that ghosts kind of have as their blueprint to resurrect a guardian of devotion, bravery, sacrifice. She did all those things because she learned that those were the things that were to be done.
Which, can I just say, I'm really glad that has... Oh, that's probably the D1 story threads that they talked about coming back into the fourfold. Because I feel like bravery, devotion, sacrifice, it came up briefly when Orjansov was resurrected, but only really in fan circles. Not at all. But it was only really people in fan circles picking up on it.
Mara's Mirage said those things to him.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Nobody has been more devoted, more brave. Nobody has sacrificed as much. No, she said that to him verbatim in the Forsaken campaign.
Oh, I forget it. So, I mean, yeah, like, that's the other time that we saw it, and now we're seeing it with Savathûn. So, I mean, I completely agree with that theory. I think that because she says, the thing that I'm cruxing on is the fact that she says to the Traveler, wouldn't it be a neat trick if after all this time you just let me die? She set up the throne world specifically so that we would give her memories back because she knew she would lose her memories when she got resurrected. Which you did call. Let it be known, here and around the kingdom, that Trystan Bray called it.
I've only been doing this for how many years now?
You can't see it, but he was making such a little face through the Discord call.
I have been right so many times and nobody listens to me still. That's
Just
all
like
I'm gonna
Shrike.
say. Where do you think he gets it?
Yeah. Yeah, so we loved that reveal because we had a feeling that was going to be. And that's how you write a twist that people can see coming and still make it satisfying. Because so many people were like, yeah, but what if? And then when it happened, everyone was like, oh shit, it happened. It oh no. So I really enjoyed that personally.
You were very uncomfortable when the witness was revealed. They gave you the heebie-jeebies. I thought the character design was cool. I do pretty firmly stand on the hill that the witness is not the winnower.
Objectively, the witness has a really, really, really cool character design. But I will say that before I saw the witness, I saw a tweet of someone who had said, Witch Queen spoilers without context, and it was a picture of Megamind. And I was like, what does that refer to? I guess I'll find out. And then when I saw the witness, that was all I could think of. The witness quote unquote reveal was only sullied for me by the question of, is the witness and the winnower the same thing? Eris made a very big point in the mission where you're going through the pyramid ship of saying differentiating, yeah. I've had a lot of people tweet, because I've been tweeting, and Bife did a tweet last night of like, hey, have you got any questions about the story? And I was like, you know what, yeah, I want to know what you think about this. And he said that he believes that they could be the same entity, but, you know, the darkness is a pretty notable liar. Other people have replied to me from that thread, obviously, because Bife is Bife, saying, you know, that they think they're separate, that they think they're the same person. There have been theories put forward that the winnower and the gardener are separate entities that aren't attached to the traveller or the witness. It's just that the traveller and the witness are, what's what I'm looking for, putting their will on the universe, kind of like the main pieces in this game that the gardener and the winnower are playing. It's also very important to me to point out that the winnower does not talk like the witness does.
At all. If they're gonna make them the same, which Bungie's disappointed me before, I hope they do it from an angle of the traveler and the witness are the result of the winnower and the gardener tumbling out of creation.
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be some kind of separation period between what the winnower was and what the witness is, and I've always kind of had canon that the gardener and the traveler are the same entity.
I agree.
But the witness seems like a darkness guardian.
Essentially, it seems like it is to the winnower what the traveller could be to the gardener if they are also separate entities. I get the feeling that we may get more answers about that in Lightfall, but we really just can't be certain. I am sitting on the notion of the witness and the winnower are two completely separate entities, because the winnower just seems far too, dare I say, playful? yeah. Dare I say playful? As for the traveller and the gardener, we really barely ever hear from them. I went back and I read the Constellations book, which is from the perspective of, several speakers over time. Yeah. And there are bits at the beginning that sound like they come from the traveller, and the traveller does speak similarly to the witness, but we've never really heard from the gardener. So lots and lots of questions. And I will say in general, just to kind of top us off here, I love that this story and this narrative is still leaving me with questions. And as we were going through the campaign, I was constantly just, but what about this? And what about that? And we still haven't got an answer to this yet. And we still haven't got an answer to that yet. It's the first time I felt like the stakes that all the characters are talking about being really high, I've actually felt those stakes. Because, like, Shadowkeep and, Beyond Light was different, but, like, a lot of stuff has been like, Guardian, you need to do this thing, da-da-da-da, and this campaign is the first time I actually felt that, so really good stuff.
I will say to you now what I said to you coming out of the campaign. I have more questions than I have answers still.
And that's how you write a good story, in my opinion.
So very briefly, on the raid. There is a section in the miasma. There are 2 Lucent Knights on a platform in front of a big gate with the Witch Queen symbol on it. And if you look at the map, it's right where the map transitions from the miasma into a channel that goes into the bog. The
Bog of the Disciple?
I can't remember the name. It's the bog. It's the something bog.
Is it Bog of the Disciple?
Bog of the Disciple, thank you. And with the raid being called Vow of the Disciple, I can only infer that either it's going to be part of or is going to open up after the raid. You can kill those knights if you're around 1530. They're pretty easy. And then you can go up to the door and crouch down and look through a little hole, and like you can see that it's a fully rendered area back there.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I put that in the Discord server this morning. But I'll have to take you and show you when we get back on here in a minute.
Yeah, please do.
But that said, 2 things that I want to very quickly note. There are little light specks around in the same way that like in Beyond Light the pyramid shards were kind of hanging around that you couldn't do anything with until you got Salvation's Grip. I highly anticipate seeing, once the raid has finished, an exotic quest, either for a raid exotic or for something separate that you will have to disperse these little light concentrations.
I was thinking the other day that it could be the 3 exotic swords we're going to get, because we still haven't seen those yet.
You mean glaives?
The glaives, yes, sorry. Pointy stick. The other pointy stick. Is this
Taken King 3 exotic swords? Do I have to go grind materials on every planet for 1,000,000 years?
For 1,000,000 billion years, and then go kill a wizard who's just gonna kick my ass the second they look at me.
Fucking right. That was such a good quest, though.
It really was.
Yeah, so I definitely think the raid's gonna start in the miasma. Those knights give me the same vibe as the Praetorians outside the vault in D1 Vault of Glass area on Venus. That's that. My general expectation, I hope the raid armor fucks. I hope I finally see some raid weapons that challenge the Deepstone Crypt weapons, because I literally still have a full arsenal of Deepstone Crypt weapons and I very rarely use anything else. Like I said,
that's my main
commemoration. I can pull that thing out and I've got like 190 ammo in the chamber. Top that. Please.
I think that topping the Deepstone Crypt weapons is going to be a feat, because they are so well loaded, and I'm still using some of them.
It's reconstruction. Well. It's the reconstruction perk.
Well, that's the
makes
thing.
Them good.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what new perks are we going to get from this raid is the big question, and are they going to rival the Deepstone Crypt weapons? I think the armor is probably going to be very sexy looking. I always have a bit of a love-hate relationship with hive armor. It really depends on where I can shader it.
What if it's pyramid armor?
That I hadn't thought about that. That is a good point.
Because I don't expect it to be hive armor.
It's so weird, because mechs are always the first thing I think about when it comes to a raid. I'm like, the end boss, don't care. Mechanics, I want to know what I'm going to look like.
Destiny is a fashion game and you are winning.
Yes.
Your warlock is winning.
My warlock is winning. My hunter looks okay, but my warlock is pretty sexy, not gonna lie.
I completely lost my mind when I saw your warlock last night. I just, no. Absolutely awesome.
I'll have to post a picture of that.
This coming from the guy who has a warlock that looks like he's Lucent Brood, like, amazing.
Which also looks amazing, by the way. Like, really, really good stuff. So yes, moving on. My general expectations and thoughts and hopes for the raid are just that it is fun, that it is a decent length. I would like for it to be Deepstone Crypt.
Yes.
Length.
I was going to say about the same as Deepstone Crypt would be perfect. I wonder what it's like you said last night. You were the one that brought this up. I wonder what the Atrax one is going to be for this raid. What's going to be the thing that hangs everybody up for 2-3 hours.
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, Atrax 1 is an encounter in the Deepstone Crypt, and as far as the world's first race goes, which we'll talk about in just a second, there's always, in some raid, there is always an encounter where all of the teams will struggle, and it really is like the checkpoint, you know, for every team racing on that day, and every person just doing the raid in general, because when our team did it, we took forever defeating Atrax. It really took us a really long time. So I am also curious what the Atrax encounter is going to be on this raid. Like, what is the encounter that everyone is really going to struggle on that's going to kind of define who comes out at the end of the world's first race. And speaking of the world's first race,
Before we move on,
Mhm.
I want to just say my biggest hope for this raid is that it has a seal, a list of challenges in the seal that match exactly what Beyond Lights were, because we completed that.
Yes.
We didn't have to
As
do a
casual
Petra's
players.
run. We didn't have to do a Petra's run and not die. We didn't have to.
run.
No, we didn't have to have a Titan. That's another thing. I think for Garden of Salvation, you have to have a Titan. Everybody has to be a Titan. Everybody has to be whatever. I don't have a Titan.
We had to do that for Deepstone Crypt.
Well, no, I don't have a Titan. No, we didn't.
Oh, no, we didn't, did we? No, it was subclasses.
It was subclasses. Keep it to subclasses. Yeah. Keep it to Void, Solar, Arc, and Stasis.
Yeah, if you can make it
I want a seal that I can chase again.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, the challenges within it will be different, but if you just keep it to subclasses and make us able to chase that seal, that will be perfect. And then for our very last topic for this podcast, we have some spicy, spicy opinions about the world's first race. Now, I'm going to let Trystan go first, because I feel like your opinions are more formulated than mine, because mine definitely come from a place of rose-coloured glasses. So please, the floor is yours.
So we do have a raid team that will be attempting, not after World's First. I want to make that very clear. We are not chasing World's First. We are chasing the Day 1 emblem and the experience. That's it. We have no anticipations, no hype of going World's First. We're actually going in an hour later than everybody else is starting because of work, and other things that are going on in life. So we'll be getting on an hour after everybody's started. So we won't even be in the running. We do not care about World's First. I personally think World's First is a gimmick. I don't like World's First. I think the race is stupid. I think it gives people who have the free time the space to essentially whip their dicks out and measure them on a table against other people who also have the time. And it gives people, I hesitate to say names because Jade always cuts them out, but it gives people like Glad, like he did with Deepstone Crypt, to say,
I mean,
it's a consolation prize to get that emblem. It's a consolation prize for this, that, and the other thing. Like, because so many people had access. I don't know where streamers in general get off acting like the Day 1 race is this closed practice that only they can do. I like seeing teams that aren't streamers win. It gives me a great sense of satisfaction to see streamers not get what they want, and like for Datto to completely delete his exotic because he doesn't think that they came in first. I just think that there's a lot of entitlement around the world's first race, and that entitlement is exclusively in streamer circles, and it's just an excuse for them to air that entitlement and wave it around.
I mean, I'm not going to cut those examples out because those examples, A, happened, B, haven't been deleted. I don't think Glad or Datto have said any sort of, like, I don't want to say apology, but, like, have addressed it again. And they prove your point, so I'm not going to edit them out because the whole situation with Glad, like, really frustrated me as well. And
I
the
was
situation
so
with
angry.
Datto. So,
just because a raid has more completions than something previously does not mean that it's bad. More completions means it's good. It's accessible.
Exactly.
And accessibility in raids is something that is necessary for the entirety
desperately needed.
Yeah, because there are so many people who don't even raid. We have friends who don't raid because they do it once for the experience if they can get a team together. And that's that. Like, they don't particularly care after that. And the raids are so narratively tied that I feel like everybody should have access and be able to do a raid.
No, I completely agree. I come at World's First Race with a little bit of rose-coloured glasses on because the first ever World's First Race that I really cared about was King's Fall, and the team that won that was the team that is now called Rare Drop. Their clan name is My Dad is Bungie. It was T-Rex, who is absolutely one of my favourite streamers, Sam Bowman, who is now working for Bungie. It was Ben Bowman, his brother, otherwise known as Professor Broman, King Athalion, Rebel Eyes, Chariona, and Gunny. I watched their complete playthroughs after the fact. It was working, so I couldn't watch it live. And I remember being, like, really proud and really excited when they did win World's First. And that was back when there wasn't a belt. That was back when it was just, like, bragging rights, you know. But they were known as the team that defeated Oryx, and I thought that was so, so cool. So I like the World's First Race from that perspective. What it has become now, where the guy who got world's first in Last Wish is saying that a raid is bad because more people have gotten the emblem, is bullshit. It's entitlement. And I am really glad that, or at least I hope that Bungie have ignored that opinion that comes from a minority. It opens up a whole conversation about, you know, streamers having a certain amount of access to this game that should not affect the game itself, but we don't have time for that conversation. I'm sure it'll pop up at some point in the future. But I will not be watching the world's first race as closely because, as I said, T-Rex now works for Bungie, so he doesn't stream Destiny.
And you're going to be playing.
And I'm going to be playing, exactly.
For the first time.
Playing for the very first time.
Accessibility.
Which I'm super, super excited about. So I'll be curious to see who gets world's first, but it's definitely not as... It doesn't have that community feel that it used to. So I like the idea behind it. I wish it would get back to that. We want to be the team that does it just to be the team that does it, not for the sake of having really gross entitlement and bragging rights. That's kind of my opinion on it.
I personally, if they got rid of the world's first race and just opened the raid up day one and was like, hey, go at it, we'll watch, but didn't really tie anything specific to it, that would be great. I know that won't happen, but stop giving people a place to shit on casual players. And
yeah.
rant.
I mean, I that feeds into a conversation about, like, I think that people who, for example, if it was like, oh god, how do I say this? If it was a streamer that I really enjoyed and they got world's first, I would want them to get that title and the accolade because they deserve it. But to then use that title and the accolade to shit on casual players, I think that Bungie should maybe be a bit more swift with the banhammer when it comes to people who do shitty things, who get world's first. I'm not saying that they don't, but I just think that they should still be treated like any other player.
Action should be taken if it comes out 2 years later that the clan is a bunch of transphobes that won world's first. Their title should be revoked.
And on that note, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Queeria. We got very spicy at the end there, but hey, that's what you're here for. Spicy, spicy queer opinions. For a collation of everything that you need to know about us as people and about this podcast as a entity, head to queeria.squarespace.com, where you can find pretty much every single one of our social media links. That being said, if you want to keep up with podcast news when we are recording, when we are uploading, head to @QueeriaCast, that is QUEERIA cast, on Twitter. You can also follow the Twitch channel. We will hopefully be doing monthly streams starting in March. That is twitch.tv/QueeriaCast also. We will be uploading these episodes to YouTube. It's hard to find us on YouTube because we have queer in our title. Of course it is. So it'll be on Twitter if you can't find it through just searching for it. We also have a Discord that we would absolutely love people to join.
Please
Again,
join the
you can
Discord.
just search Queeria. Please join the Discord. We love talking to people about stuff. We'll constantly just put questions in there and ask people how they're feeling about stuff. We have a lot of really lovely members already, so please, even if you are worried about joining a new space, it is friendly, it is fun, it is low-key, it is casual. Please join the Discord. We would absolutely love to have you. Again, so just search Queeria, or you can find it on our website as well. We also have a Ko-fi, so if you want to support us through monetary means, maybe help us get some pop filters, because editing out all of these pops is really difficult for me. That would be really, really great. But of course, there is never any pressure. You can go to ko-fi, so KOFI /QueeriaCast if you want to support us monetarily. That would be really great and we would massively appreciate it. You can find myself at _ScarletRebel on Twitter and ScarletRebel on YouTube. I do lots of videos about queer characters in Destiny and just Destiny stuff in general. And you can find Trystan at ExordiumNoctis on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching again. See you next time, folks. And do not forget to keep it queer. Bye-bye.
Bye.